How's it going there today, everybody? This is Michael out in Maui. Aloha. So if you're enjoying all the content that I've been putting out, I recommend subscribing to the channel. By subscribing, you'll be notified every single time I put out a new video. So today I wanted to talk about what makes the wrist fire. Have you ever thought about it? You know, kind of tried to figure out like what literally makes the disc fire when you throw your disc. You know, like when you take your grip and you come out, you know, when you're right here, you know, the disc is facing 9 o'clock. What makes it go to 12 o'clock? So that movement from 9 to 12, what makes that happen? I've pondered this quite a bit. I do a lot of throwing on the field. You know, I've been playing for 18 years, you know, and I throw a lot. And I spend a lot of time focusing on the wrist and what it does to throw the disc and what makes it happen. The wrist has to be developed to really throw hard. You know, if you want to throw backhand harder, it's all on the wrist. You know, forehand, it's all in the wrist. They've got to develop the wrist even harder. Even putting, if you're going to putt, it's all in the wrist. You know, that putt right here in the wrist. So the wrist is the foundation of all the throws. But what makes the wrist fire when you're throwing the disc? Arm tension, grip pressure. Those two things make the wrist fire. When you're throwing your disc and you have a tight grip, tight forearm, when you have a tight grip, when you come out to throw the disc here, it's going to release with a little bend in your arm right here. Because of the arm tension, your arm isn't going to go straight when you throw here. You know, when you throw, the throw isn't straight armed. The arm tension is going to keep a little bend in your elbow. That little bend in your elbow is what makes the wrist fire here. Because the arm stops briefly, like that. The arm stops. That's when the wrist fires through. So as you're throwing your disc, tight arm, tight grip, as you pull through here and you get to here, the tight arm keeps a slight bend in your elbow. When your arm's extended, it stops. It's gonna stop because, you know, it's being held back because of the tight forearm. So the arm's held back. Because the arm's held back, that's what allows the disc or your wrist to now push forward here from 9 to 12. It snaps forward because of the tight arm. My arm is stopped. The disc now fires because the arm is stopped. So when you run up, you throw, tight arm keeps the bend. Now the disc pushes, or the wrist pushes into the stopped arm. It's just like putting. Have you ever noticed when you putt, when you're putting and your arm gets all the way out here straight? You know, we've all done that. You know, you'll be putting and for some reason your arm goes completely straight. And you'll notice you have nothing on your putt. Your wrist is literally trying to throw the disc, but there's nothing on it at all because the arm has gone completely straight. So now you've lost the power from your arm that would have helped throw the putter. Instead, you went completely straight and now you're literally trying to putt with just your wrist. So it's the same thing when you putt. When you're putting, you put a little tension in your arm. keeps it a little bent because you don't want your arm to go completely straight when you're putting. That little bend will now allow your wrist to snap against something. See, if my arm stops, so if my arm comes forward to putt and it stops right here because that little bend, well, now the wrist has something to push against here. You know, it's gonna fire forward because my arm stopped. So you'll notice, like I said, like if you try to putt, just put a little tension in your arm and putt from here and come in and putt. That little bend, I can snap my disc faster from this. I mean, just here and just push forward right there. 12 o'clock, slight bend in the arm. It's gonna be faster. Here, slight bend. Wrist pushes through faster. If I go completely straight, there's nothing for the wrist to push against, and it's literally my fingers trying to throw the disc. I mean, just hold your arm straight like this and try to throw your disc from 9 to 12. You know, you can't even throw it. I mean, there's nothing there because your arm went straight. If my arm stays slightly bent, watch now, slightly bent, yeah, I can throw the putter way over there, slightly bent arm, because my wrist can now push through because the arm stopped. So when you're throwing your disc, it has to be the same thing. Tension, grip pressure, will stop your arm here, little bend. That's what will allow the wrist to push through harder. If you throw your disc with a relaxed arm and you get all the way out here, you're literally just releasing the disc. I mean, you got nothing on it because, there's nothing for the wrist to snap against out here. So I just recommend, giving it a try. Like when you're putting, just go completely straight with your arm putting and see how much power you have compared to keeping it bent a little bit. And when you throw, try that tighter grip. Just start slow, tighten up your grip, tighten up everything. Just stand up and just throw some and get used to a tighter grip. Here. Get used to just holding on to the disc and throwing. So anyways, this is Michael out in Maui. Aloha.